Good morning, everyone. We're here for another reading in the section Managing Your Inner World. Today, what to do when you feel inferior. The words know thyself are still two of the most important words ever put together. Do you know why people sometimes, quite often as a matter of fact, have inferiority complexes? It's because their thinking is based on a false premise. The false premise is that they compare themselves to other people when this is actually something they should never do, since no two human beings are alike. Everybody on earth is inferior to everyone else on earth in certain areas and superior in other areas. A wise man once wrote, "To be human is to feel inferior." This is why the well-adjusted person, the person who knows himself, isn't bothered because he can't dance as well as so-and-so or play golf or bridge as well as someone else. It would be completely impossible for any one human being to be as good at everything as every other human being. The well-adjusted person admires others for their talents and abilities without feeling envious. In fact, he doesn't bring himself into comparison at all. He is happily resigned to the fact that he is not the best looking, best built, smartest, most talented, fastest, cleverest, funniest, most engaging person on earth. Without even thinking about it, he seems to know that every person is a potpourri of strengths and weaknesses inherited from all his ancestors. No two of them were alike, but each one had a slightly different strong point with the standard collection of weaknesses. In his fine book, Psycho-Cybernetics, Dr. Maxwell Maltz wrote, "Inferiority and superiority are reverse sides of the same coin. The cure lies in realizing that the coin itself is spurious. You are not inferior or are not superior. You are simply you. You as a personality are not in competition with any other personality simply because there is not another person on the face of the earth like you or in your particular class. You are an individual. You are unique. You are not like any other person. You are not supposed to be like any other person, and no other person is supposed to be like you." The doctor went on to write, "God did not create a standard person and in some way label that person by saying, 'This is it.' He made every human being individual and unique, just as he made every snowflake individual and unique. God created short people and tall people, large people and small people, skinny people and fat people, black, yellow, red, and white people. He has never indicated any preference for any one size, shape, or color. Abraham Lincoln once said, 'God must have loved the common people, for he made so many of them.' He was wrong. There is no common man, no standardized common pattern. He would have been nearer the truth had he said, 'God must have loved uncommon people, for he made so many of them.' Anybody could make himself feel inferior if he didn't realize that he is unlike any other human being who ever lived on earth. If he understands fully and completely, intellectually and emotionally, that he is unique and different individual, he cannot have an inferiority complex. How could he, since there's no standard against which to judge if every person is different? And every person is different. Nothing on earth happens purely by accident. A person is living because he was meant to live, and he has talents and abilities that are totally his own, unique with him. His job then, as a person, is to learn to know himself. If he does, he will like himself, for he will discover he's quite a person after all. He will recognize and accept the things he cannot do as well as some other people, but he will also understand and appreciate those things it has been given him to do well. He will accept himself for what he really is, one of a kind, as different from every other person on earth as his fingerprints or his signature. A human being is the finest, the noblest, the most godlike creature ever produced on earth. Not to be thankful for such a gift is the worst kind of ignorance, And an inferiority complex is a phantom, a ghost with no real substance. In the light of knowledge, it disappears. Is awesome. I mean, no one is inferior or superior to anyone else. And if you realize that, if you realize you're unique, then you can't have those inferiority complexes. You can't think that you aren't worthy of good things, of success, of anything like that, because reality is that you have a unique gift, and remembering that you have this unique gift and that it actually is useful to a unique set of people. That means that everyone on earth has a unique audience that will only respond and listen to you. So if you think along those lines, truly you cannot think yourself inferior at all. I mean, I think this is a great way to look at yourself and look at the world, to understand that we all are so unique. And because we are unique, we can't compare to one another. We're totally different. So we're all on our own class. Having that realization really tells you that, there's lots of work to do if you feel a certain way. So, as you go through your days, recognize that, you have unique opportunities that other people could never experience or could never have because of your uniqueness. So if any of you are feeling that way, feeling as though you aren't as good as other people, or as he says, on the same coin, if you think you're better than anybody else, always remember that there are people out there that, that are better than you in these areas. You can also realize then that, it's worthless to think that you are inferior to anybody else, and you don't have those same talents, or you don't have the same an ability that's as good in some other area. Knowing this allows you to, openly and, just go inside and, start to begin to look into you and what you're unique at. Know thyself is the key, and, things like meditation and stuff like that can help you with that. So, remember you're unique, and there's no sense in being inferior. That's a different thing to look at. That's something to look at, self-esteem, self-confidence, self-images, looking at those as well. So, over this weekend, just kind of take a moment to get still and really look inside and see what it is that you're unique at, that you love to do, and that's starting to push you along those path of your giftedness. So, great passage to listen to again. So I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Tomorrow, the section will be called The Wonders of Praise, another good reading to listen to. So show up tomorrow and have a listen and see how you can add more to life and to becoming the greatest ideal of yourself. All right. This is Dr. Garrett. Have an amazing weekend, you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye now.